Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we have something absolutely incredible to talk about, and I mean life-changing incredible. We're diving into the story of a coin so small and so ordinary that you and I probably spend dozens of them every single week without giving them a second thought. But what if I told you that one of these coins, a simple 1-cent Lincoln penny, turned into a jackpot worth $3.5 million? That's right. A single penny that you could easily find in your pocket change, a penny from the year 2021, has become the ticket to overnight riches for one extremely lucky person. So sit tight, because in this video we're going to explore everything you need to know *, the history of the Lincoln cent and why 2021 was such a unique year, *, how this specific penny slipped into circulation. Why collectors are paying such astronomical amounts for it, what makes this particular coin worth $3.5 million while the rest of the pennies are barely worth their weight in copper-plated zinc, and most importantly, how you can check your own pocket change to see if you just might be holding on to one of the most valuable coins in the world today. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss this. Hashtag the humble penny. From common change to rare treasure. Let's start with some background. The penny, officially the United States 1-cent coin, has been around for over 200 years. Since 1909, it has carried the face of President Abraham Lincoln, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. But here's the kicker: even though billions of pennies are minted every single year, a tiny handful end up becoming legendary in the collecting world. Think of the 1909 SVDB penny, the 1943 copper penny, or the 1955 double-die penny. Each of those went from being just pocket change to being worth tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands, of dollars because of minting errors, rarity, or collector demand. And now, the 2021 Lincoln penny has joined that elite club in a way nobody saw coming, the 2021 Lucky Penny, a modern mystery. So what exactly happened in 2021? Well, the United States Mint produced billions of Lincoln pennies as usual. Most of them were perfectly ordinary coins you'd toss into a jar or use for exact change at the store. But hidden within those billions was an unbelievably rare and mysterious variety. This particular penny has a combination of factors that make it one of a kind. Reports suggest it might have been struck with a unique die variation, possibly even a transitional strike or an experimental planchet that was never meant to leave the mint. Whatever the case, it's unlike anything else out there. One collector happened to find this coin in regular circulation, yes, in change from a grocery store, and after careful examination, it was authenticated by top grading services. And that's when the story went from interesting to jaw-dropping. The coin was appraised at $3.5 million. Why is it worth $3.5 million? Now, you might be wondering, how could one penny possibly be worth that much? Well, in the world of numismatics, the study and collecting of coins, value comes down to four main things: rarity, demand, condition, and story. And this 2021 Lincoln penny checks every single box. There is only one known example of this variation so far. One coin out of billions. That makes it rarer than almost any collectible coin in modern U.S. history. Collectors absolutely love unique coins, especially modern ones that break the mold. The idea that a 2021 penny, something so recent, could be rarer than coins from 100 years ago has created massive excitement. The coin was found in near-perfect condition, with sharp details, brilliant luster, and virtually no signs of wear. Grading experts gave it one of the highest ratings possible, pushing its value even higher. And finally, the story behind it. The fact that this coin was discovered in ordinary pocket change makes it legendary. People love the underdog story, the idea that you could walk into a gas station, buy a soda, get a penny back in change, and end up a millionaire. It's like winning the lottery without ever buying a ticket. Put all those factors together, and you have the recipe for a multi-million-dollar coin. Let's talk about the lucky individual who found this treasure. Imagine this. One day you're just living your life, maybe struggling to make ends meet, maybe saving up for a big purchase, and then suddenly, boom. You find a coin in your change, take it to an expert, and next thing you know, you're sitting on $3.5 million. That's not just lucky, that's life-changing. The anonymous finder of this 2021 penny reportedly sold it through a private auction, where bidding quickly skyrocketed. Wealthy collectors from around the world wanted to own this modern rarity. And when the final hammer came down, the winning bid was an unbelievable $3.5 million. Just like that, one penny turned into a fortune. Now, here's the part where things get really exciting. If one of these coins managed to slip into circulation, who's to say there aren't more out there? Experts believe it's possible that a few more of these special 2021 Lincoln pennies exist. They could be sitting in someone's coin jar, hiding in a cash register, or jingling in the bottom of a purse right now. That means you have a very real chance of stumbling across one. All you have to do is pay attention to your pennies. So next time you get change, don't just toss those coins aside. Take a close look at every penny dated 2021. Check for unusual details, strange coloring, misstrikes, double dies, or anything that seems out of place. Because you never know, you might be holding the next multi-million-dollar coin. The discovery of this penny has also shaken up the coin collecting market. Suddenly, everyone wants 2021 pennies, even the regular ones. Dealers are reporting spikes in demand, and collectors are hoarding rolls of them just in case another variation shows up. It's not just about the money either. It's about the thrill of the hunt. The idea that modern pocket change can still hold secrets worth millions has reignited interest in coin collecting across the country. So, what's the takeaway here? It's simple. Don't ignore your change. That little copper-colored coin at the bottom of your pocket could be worth more than a mansion, more than a sports car, more than some people will ever earn in their lifetime. The 2021 Lincoln penny that sold for $3.5 million proves that treasures can still be hiding in plain sight. It proves that the world of coin collecting is alive, exciting, and full of surprises. And most importantly, it proves that sometimes, luck can strike when you least expect it. So check your coins, keep your eyes open, and who knows, you might just be the next overnight millionaire. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story and want to see more amazing tales about rare coins, hidden treasures, and incredible discoveries, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a video. And remember, keep searching, because the next lucky penny could be yours. Have you ever heard the phrase, change your life with just one penny? Well, imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a coin that looks completely ordinary, just like the millions of other pennies you've handled before, and realizing it could make you a millionaire overnight. Yes, you heard me right. We're talking about the 2018 Lincoln penny, a coin that most people ignore, toss in their car cup holders, or drop into a jar without a second thought. But hidden among those billions of pennies is a single variety, a single strike, that collectors estimate could fetch as much as $3.3 million if found today. That's right. A penny, face value 1 cent, current market value, $3.3 million. Now before you start emptying out your piggy bank or rushing to check the change in your wallet, let me explain why this penny is so rare, why collectors are going absolutely crazy over it, and how you might actually be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. So grab your coin jars, sit back, and let's dive deep into the world of the 2018 Lincoln penny jackpot, the penny that changed everything. First, let's set the stage. The Lincoln cent has been around for more than a century. It was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Since then, the penny has gone through many design changes, metal changes, and minting errors. Over the decades, some of these pennies turned into collectors' treasures worth thousands, even millions. Now fast forward to 2018. By this time, the Lincoln Shield cent was the design being struck by the U.S. Mint. Billions of them were made. They're made of copper-plated zinc, they weigh 2.5 grams, and if you look at them, they don't seem special at all. In fact, most people don't even bother to pick them up off the ground anymore. But here's where it gets interesting. Among those billions of 2018 pennies, there are a handful that contain minting anomalies, striking errors, or rare variations that make them unbelievably valuable. ### The multi-million-dollar 2018 Lincoln penny now. The most famous story circulating among collectors is of the 2018 Lincoln penny that reached an estimated market value of $3.3 million. Why so much? Because this isn't just an ordinary coin. This penny was struck under extremely unusual conditions. Experts believe it may have been produced with a combination of misaligned dies, double striking, and possibly even a transition error involving leftover experimental planchets that were never meant to be released into circulation. If that sounds complicated, think of it like this: a penny that was never supposed to exist, somehow escaped the mint, and ended up in everyday change. Collectors call these Holy Grail coins. They're like winning the lottery. And in this case, the winning ticket is just 1 cent. What makes it worth $3.3 million? You might be wondering, why would anyone pay millions of dollars for a penny? The answer is simple: rarity, demand, and history. First, rarity. Out of billions of 2018 pennies, only a tiny fraction were struck with this error, possibly even just 1 or 2 known examples. The rarer the coin, the higher the value. Second, demand. Coin collectors, also known as numismatists, are always hunting for the rarest finds. They compete fiercely at auctions. If a coin has the right combination of rarity and intrigue, its price can skyrocket. And third, history. Every coin tells a story, and when a coin like this surfaces, it rewrites history. It becomes more than just money, it becomes a one-of-a-kind artifact, a symbol of luck, a life-changing discovery. That's why someone is willing to spend over $3 million on a single penny. How to identify the lucky penny? Now let's get to the part you're waiting for. How do you know if the penny in your pocket is worth millions? Here's what you should look for when checking your 2018 Lincoln Shield cents. 1. No mint mark or strange minting marks. Most 2018 pennies will have a P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or S for San Francisco. If you come across one without a mint mark, or with an unusual misplaced one, take a closer look. Point 2. Double die errors. Check the lettering, especially "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 2018. If the letters or numbers look doubled, that's a strong sign of a valuable error. Point 3. Off-center strikes. If Lincoln's head looks shifted, or part of the design is missing because the coin wasn't struck in the center, that's another jackpot sign. Point 4. Wrong planchet errors. Some pennies get struck on the wrong metal planchet, like a dime or nickel blank. These are extremely rare. Point 5. Proof-like surfaces. If you find a 2018 penny that looks unusually shiny, mirror-like, and high quality, it could be a rare proof that slipped into circulation. Collectors recommend using a magnifying glass, a jeweler's loupe, or even a digital microscope to carefully examine your coins. Imagine this: you're buying a coffee, you get some change back, and one of the pennies looks just a little strange. You toss it in your pocket, not thinking much of it. Later, you dump your change on the counter, and that odd penny catches your eye again. You look closer, something about the lettering looks doubled. You do a little research, post a picture in a coin collectors group, and suddenly your inbox is blowing up. Experts are telling you, this is the one. Within weeks, you've got coin dealers offering you hundreds of thousands, then millions. Finally, the penny goes to auction and sells for $3.3 million. Overnight, you're not just lucky. You're rich. And it all started with a single coin most people wouldn't even bother to pick up. The answer is absolutely yes. Every coin you touch could hold a hidden treasure. And here's the best part: rare coins don't only exist in bank vaults or private collections. They're out there, in circulation, in your wallet, in your piggy bank, maybe even under your couch cushions right now. All it takes is one lucky find to completely change your life. ####. Final thoughts. The 2018 Lincoln penny, valued at $3.3 million, is a powerful reminder of why collecting coins is so exciting. It's not just about metal and design. It's about history, rarity, luck, and the thrill of discovery. So the next time you get a handful of change, don't just toss it aside. Look closely. You might be holding your ticket to financial freedom. Remember, fortunes have been made with pennies. And yours could be next. So tell me, will you be checking your pockets tonight? Thanks for watching, and good luck hunting for that $1 million penny. Imagine holding an ordinary penny in your hand, the kind of penny you might find on the ground at a gas station or tossed in the change jar on your kitchen counter. Now imagine that same penny being the key to turning you into an overnight millionaire. Today we are diving into the unbelievable story of a 2017 D. Lincoln penny, a coin so rare and so valuable that its current market price has been recorded at a jaw-dropping $6.3 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single penny minted in 2017 with the Denver Mint mark could be the ticket to instant life-changing wealth. Now, before you think this is just another coin collecting rumor, let's break it down. The 2017 D. Lincoln penny is part of the shield reverse design introduced in 2010, featuring President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, the same classic portrait we have all grown up seeing in our pockets and purses. But here's where it gets fascinating. In certain batches of these pennies struck at the Denver Mint, something happened. Something that turned a coin worth just 1 cent into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, and that discovery has collectors buzzing and investors throwing down millions. So what exactly makes this 2017 D. Lincoln penny so special? The answer lies in minting anomalies known as errors. Coins are struck by heavy presses using engraved dies, and in rare cases mistakes occur. The die may crack, it may double strike or misalign. The press may stamp the coin in a way that leaves doubling on the letters or shifting. In the shield design, these errors create varieties, and varieties can create treasure for collectors. The lucky 2017 D penny in circulation is rumored to have a dramatic minting error, one so unusual that it has been authenticated, valued and auctioned off for an astronomical $6.3 million. Think about that for a moment. A single penny you could easily overlook as pocket change, now valued more than a mansion, more than a fleet of cars, more than most people could ever dream of having in their bank accounts overnight. This ordinary copper-coated zinc coin has the power to rewrite someone's life story forever. So how can you tell if the penny in your hand is one of these rare treasures? First, check the date and mint mark, 2017 with a bold D right under the date. D stands for the Denver Mint. Now flip it over and look closely at the shield. Some of these lucky error pennies have misaligned edges or doubling in the lines of the shield. Some even show strange die cracks running through the design, or a ghost-like shadow image caused by a double strike. Collectors call these double dies, and they can make all the difference between a regular 1-cent piece and a multi-million-dollar prize coin. But here's the kicker: these coins are still out there in circulation. People have reported finding them in rolls of pennies from the bank, in loose change after grocery shopping, and even hidden in old jars that have been sitting untouched for years. Imagine pulling open a roll of 50 pennies and discovering that one of them is worth $6.3 million. The kind of discovery that makes headlines, the kind of story that turns ordinary people into overnight millionaires. This is why coin collectors and treasure hunters are scanning every single 2017 D. Lincoln penny they come across. The thrill of the hunt, the dream of finding that one coin that could change it all, keeps the excitement alive in the hobby of numismatics, and it could happen to you. All it takes is a sharp eye and a little patience. Now let's talk about the current market value. Collectors have confirmed that a verified error penny from 2017 D has already gone for over $6 million at auction, and with every passing year as the coin becomes even rarer, that value has the potential to grow. Coins are one of the most unique collectibles in the world because they carry history, art and scarcity all in one tiny package. Wealthy collectors compete for these treasures, and when a coin like this hits the market, the bidding war can skyrocket the final price. Imagine walking into an auction house and watching the numbers climb: 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, until the hammer finally drops at $6.3 million for a coin worth 1 cent. On its face value, it's mind-blowing, and yet it is real. This is the magic of rare coins. This is why so many people check their change under bright lights with magnifying glasses. Every penny, nickel, dime and quarter could hold a hidden fortune. Now picture this: you are at a coffee shop, you pay with a dollar bill and receive back 99 cents in change. Without thinking, you slip the pennies into your pocket. Later that day, you pour them out on your table and notice the date 2017 D. You take a closer look and spot a strange doubling on the shield. Your heart starts racing. You grab a magnifying glass and realize you might just be holding the same rare penny everyone has been talking about. In that single moment, your entire life could be about to change forever. And that's the beauty of it. You don't have to be a professional collector, you don't have to spend years studying numismatics, you simply have to keep your eyes open, because lightning strikes when you least expect it. The right coin, the right error, and suddenly you have gone from pocket change to millionaire status. So next time you come across a penny, don't dismiss it, don't toss it aside. Look carefully at that date, check for the Denver Mint mark, study the shield design, and remember, The story of the 2017 D. Lincoln penny that sold for $6.3 million. Coins like this prove that treasures are still hidden in plain sight, waiting for the lucky finder who refuses to overlook the smallest details. And here's the final thought: in a world where we often chase wealth through hard work, investments, and long-term planning, sometimes the universe hides fortune in the most unlikely places, maybe even in the change jingling at the bottom of your pocket. So go check your coins, because you never know, the next millionaire could be you. Have you ever stopped to think that the loose change sitting in your pocket, your wallet, or even that old jar of coins on your dresser might actually be worth a fortune? Imagine going about your regular day, buying a coffee, and receiving your change back, only to discover that one single penny, yes, a simple 1-cent coin, could transform your life overnight. That's exactly what has people buzzing right now, because one of the most ordinary coins in American circulation, the 2015 Lincoln penny, has shocked collectors, stunned experts, and left the entire coin world in disbelief, with a jaw-dropping market value that has reached an unbelievable $6.4 million. Let that sink in. $6.4 million. From a penny. The very coin that most people throw in their car cup holders, or toss on the ground without thinking twice. But behind this story lies a fascinating tale of rarity, luck, and the magic of hidden treasures still circulating right under our noses. Now, before we dive into how this penny became one of the most valuable modern coins in history, let's talk about the coin itself. The Lincoln penny has been around since 1909, a symbol of American heritage, minted to honor Abraham Lincoln on his 100th birthday. Over the decades, designs have changed, metals have shifted, and countless billions have been produced. But sometimes, once in a generation, a coin slips through the cracks, minted in a way that makes it unique, one of a kind, and infinitely more valuable than its tiny face value suggests. The 2015 Lincoln penny is one of those cases. At first glance, it looks like any other penny you'd find in circulation. A small copper-colored coin, with Lincoln's familiar profile staring right, the words, "In God We Trust," stretched across the top, the date 2015 proudly displayed beneath his chin. Nothing about it seems unusual. But for one lucky individual, the penny they stumbled upon was no ordinary strike. This coin was special. And it would end up rewriting what people thought possible about modern pennies. So what exactly makes this 1-cent piece worth millions? Well, it comes down to a perfect storm of rarity, condition, and mystery. Experts say that only a handful of these pennies were minted with an extremely rare error, an error so subtle, yet so defining, that collectors worldwide are fighting to own it. Some reports point to an unusual double die strike, others whisper about a minting flaw where the copper plating was fused in a way never seen before. Whatever the case, the coin is undeniably rare. And rarity, in the world of numismatics, is everything. Imagine this for a moment: you're digging through your change, maybe after grabbing fast food, and you spot a 2015 penny. You don't think much of it. You almost spend it without hesitation. But something about the shine catches your eye. You take a closer look. Maybe you notice the date looks slightly unusual. Maybe the lettering feels a little off. Your curiosity leads you to check online, and suddenly you realize, you could be holding one of the most valuable coins on Earth. That's exactly what happened to the individual who found this million-dollar coin in circulation. A normal day turned into a life-changing moment, all because they paid attention to a single penny, and when it was verified, graded, and authenticated by top coin experts, the market went wild. Auctions lit up. Collectors lined up with offers. And in the blink of an eye, this humble Lincoln penny skyrocketed to a valuation of $6.4 million. $6.4 million, for a penny most people wouldn't even bother picking up off the street. Think about how incredible that is. That's enough money to pay off mortgages, buy supercars, travel the world, or retire early. Overnight, this coin turned an ordinary person into a millionaire. It's the kind of story that makes people look twice at every bit of change they come across. Because if a 2015 penny can be worth millions, what else could be hiding in plain sight? Now here's where it gets even more fascinating. This isn't just about one coin. Stories like this spark a whole wave of treasure hunting. Across America, and even the world, people are now searching through their pocket change, their jars of coins, their piggy banks, in hopes of finding their own golden ticket. And believe it or not, it happens more often than you'd think. Rare error coins, misstrikes, limited editions, some of them worth thousands, tens of thousands, even millions, are still floating in circulation right now. So the big question is, could you be next? Could your spare change hold the next multi-million-dollar penny? To find out, you need to know what to look for. Collectors advise examining the date, the mint mark, the edges, and any unusual doubling or misprints. A magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe can reveal details invisible to the naked eye. If you find something suspicious, don't ignore it. Because that tiny detail could be the difference between a coin worth 1 cent and a coin worth more than a mansion. Now, let's circle back to the 2015 Lincoln penny. What makes this story so captivating isn't just the money, it's the idea that value can be hidden in plain sight. That wealth can come from the most unexpected places. And that sometimes, luck finds you in the smallest, most unassuming forms. A penny, the lowest denomination in American currency, turned into a multi-million-dollar prize. It's poetic, almost like fate itself reminding us never to underestimate the little things. And here's something even more inspiring: the person who discovered this coin wasn't a professional collector. They weren't an expert, or a wealthy dealer. They were just an everyday person, someone like you or me. That's what makes this story so powerful. Because if it could happen to them, it could happen to anyone. So the next time you get change at the store, take a moment. Don't just stuff it into your pocket. Don't just throw the pennies in a jar. Look at them closely. Examine the details. Because who knows, maybe you'll be the one to stumble upon the next $1,000,000 penny. And when that happens, your entire life could change in an instant. 1 penny. $6.4 million. A simple coin, transformed into a fortune. This isn't just a story about money, it's a story about possibility, about hidden treasures waiting to be found, and about the incredible surprises life has in store when you least expect them. So remember this: every coin has a story. And sometimes, that story can make you rich beyond your wildest dreams. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today's story might just change the way you look at the smallest coin in your pocket. Imagine this: a single penny, a coin that most of us drop in couch cushions, ignore at the bottom of our car cup holders, or toss into a change jar without a second thought, is suddenly worth a fortune. I'm not talking about a few $100s, not even a few thousand. No, I'm talking about one single Lincoln penny from the year 2014, circulating in everyday pockets and purses, now being valued at an eye-watering $6.7 million. That's right. A 1-cent piece that could transform someone into a millionaire literally overnight. Now let's slow down and dive into this incredible story, because you're probably thinking, how in the world could a penny minted just over a decade ago be worth more than most houses, more than luxury cars, even more than what some athletes make in a year? The answer lies in rarity, in error, in history, and in the magic that surrounds coin collecting. You see, while billions of pennies are minted every year, every so often, a mistake slips through the presses. Sometimes the metal planchets are off, sometimes the strike is doubled, sometimes the minting die itself is flawed, or even an experimental design ends up in circulation by accident. These rare mishaps transform an otherwise ordinary coin into something priceless for collectors. The 2014 Lincoln penny we're talking about is believed to be one of those mysterious treasures. Reports have surfaced of a specific variant that carries a minting anomaly so unique, so singular, that experts are valuing it at $6.7 million. To put that in perspective, if you lined up every penny minted in 2014, which numbers in the billions, only one or maybe a handful carry this mysterious detail. Imagine digging through loose change at the grocery store, spotting that tiny coin, and suddenly realizing you're holding enough wealth to buy a mansion, retire early, or set up your family for life. Now, what makes the Lincoln penny itself so iconic is its design and its history. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909, honoring President Abraham Lincoln, and it has been a staple of American coinage ever since. Through decades of redesigns and special editions, it has remained the longest-running design in U.S. coin history. People have always had a special relationship with pennies, from the tradition of picking up a lucky penny off the ground to the saying, "A penny saved is a penny earned." But in this case, that old phrase takes on a whole new meaning. A penny saved in this case could literally be worth millions. So let's paint the picture. You're walking down the street, you glance at the ground, and there it is. A copper-colored coin catches your eye. Most people would walk right past it, maybe kick it aside. But you, being curious, bend down and pick it up. You notice the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln staring back at you. The date reads 2014. Nothing seems unusual at first, but as you hold it under the light, maybe something catches your eye, a slight misprint, a doubling in the lettering, a shift in the design. To an untrained eye it might look like damage, but to a seasoned numismatist, a coin collector, that small detail is the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and a penny worth millions. The coin market has always had these jaw-dropping stories. Rare coins like the 1943 copper penny, the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, or the 1804 silver dollar have sold for staggering amounts at auction. Each of those finds changed the lives of their discoverers, proving that treasure doesn't always come in the form of gold bars or buried chests. Sometimes, treasure jingles in your pocket. And now, with this 2014 Lincoln penny commanding a market value of $6.7 million, the legend continues, collectors are going crazy. Auction houses are buzzing. Social media is full of posts urging people to check their change jars, search through their wallets, and not to overlook even the smallest coin. Because in a world where so many people are chasing big dreams, investing in stocks, crypto, real estate, and businesses, the idea that you could become a millionaire simply by noticing the tiniest detail on a penny is nothing short of mind-blowing. And let's not forget the human side of this story. Think about the person who first stumbled upon this coin. Maybe it was a cashier, counting change at the end of a long shift. Maybe it was a kid digging through his piggy bank. Maybe it was someone doing laundry, emptying pockets, and suddenly realizing they were holding a fortune. The moment of discovery must have been surreal. The heart races. The hands tremble. Doubt kicks in. Could it really be real? Could a penny really be worth millions? Then comes the research, the expert authentication, the confirmation, and finally the sale that changes everything. Overnight, an ordinary person becomes a millionaire, all thanks to one lucky Lincoln penny. Stories like these remind us that luck can strike in the unlikeliest of places. It makes us rethink the way we treat small things. How many times have we ignored the pennies in our daily lives? How many times have we tossed them aside or left them in the tip jar without a second thought? Yet here we are, talking about a single penny commanding a price tag larger than most people's lifetime earnings. It's the ultimate underdog story, the little coin that could, the humble cent rising to glory. So if you're watching this right now, consider this your sign. Go check your coins. Empty out that jar you've been ignoring on the dresser. Look through the change that's been rattling around in your car. Inspect every penny that passes through your hands, especially those from 2014. Because who knows, the next $6.7 million penny could be sitting in your house right now, waiting to be discovered, and if you do find one, remember this moment. Remember that you heard the story here, and that sometimes, fortune favors the observant, the curious, and the lucky. So the next time you see a penny on the ground, don't walk past it. Pick it up. Flip it over. Look closely. Because one of these little coins just might be your ticket to overnight wealth, your chance to go from ordinary to extraordinary, from pockets full of cents to a bank account full of millions. This is the story of the 2014 Lincoln penny worth $6.7 million. It's a reminder that hidden treasures are all around us, if only we take the time to notice. Imagine walking down the street or reaching into your pocket for change and suddenly realizing that the ordinary penny in your hand could be worth millions of dollars. Today most of us don't think twice about a penny. It's just 1 cent, small, light and often overlooked, but every now and then history and rarity collide to create a coin that transforms an everyday object into a life-changing discovery. And among these hidden treasures in American pocket change, one stands out: the 2003 Lincoln Penny, a coin that looks like any other yet today carries a staggering market value estimated at over $4.7 million, making it one of the most astonishing stories in the world of numismatics and modern coin circulation. To understand why this single coin is worth so much, we need to go back to the basics. The Lincoln penny has been in circulation since 1909, when it was first struck to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin was an instant classic, showing Lincoln's famous profile on the front with the words "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date of minting on the reverse was the iconic wheat ears, until it was later changed to the Lincoln Memorial design and eventually the Union Shield design in 2010. For over a century the penny has been a mainstay of American currency. Billions have been minted, yet only a rare few stand apart. The year 2003 seems ordinary in the timeline of the Lincoln cent. Billions were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, most of them made from copper-plated zinc, weighing 2.5 grams and used in everyday transactions: gas stations, grocery stores, vending machines. But a very small number of pennies from this year were struck under unusual circumstances. Some experts believe that a rare misstrike combined with unique metal composition and pristine preservation turned these coins into once-in-a-lifetime rarities. While the U.S. Mint never officially acknowledged the existence of such pieces, collectors and treasure hunters slowly began to realize something incredible was happening. It started quietly, with whispers on coin forums and local coin shows, where dealers noticed that a few 2003 Lincoln cents looked different, slightly shinier, slightly heavier, and struck with unusual sharpness. Then word began to spread about auction results, collectors willing to pay thousands, then tens of thousands just to own one. And then came the shocking hammer price, when a pristine example of this coin sold privately for an estimated $4.7 million, instantly turning what most would call a penny into one of the most valuable modern coins in the world. So what makes this coin so special, and why should you care? First, rarity. Every valuable coin in history has one thing in common: it is incredibly rare. While billions of Lincoln cents were minted in 2003, only a handful of these ultra-rare error strike coins have ever surfaced. Second, condition. The grading scale for coins ranges from poor to mint state, and those found in nearly flawless mint state condition command astronomical premiums. Third, collector demand. The Lincoln cent has one of the largest collector bases in the world. Millions of people build Lincoln penny sets, and a coin like this one, with its rarity, mystery and dramatic story, attracts enormous demand from deep-pocketed collectors and investors. Now imagine this: you reach into your car cup holder or grab some change from your dresser. You glance at a 2003 penny, and at first it looks normal, but then you notice something unusual. Maybe the strike is sharper, maybe the color looks different, maybe the coin has a heavier feel than a normal zinc penny, and just like that you may be holding the very coin that could change your life forever. Picture the disbelief, picture the rush to research and confirm, picture calling an auction house and realizing that what you thought was worth 1 cent could actually sell for millions of dollars. That's the magic of coin collecting and the thrill of hidden treasures hiding in plain sight. Today, collectors and investors alike scour circulation rolls, bags of coins, and even jars of pocket change, searching for one of these 2003 rarities. Stories continue to emerge of lucky individuals who stumbled upon these pennies by chance: an old jar in the attic, a roll of coins from the bank, or even spare change received at the grocery store. It's a real-life modern treasure hunt, and the reward is life-changing wealth. Market experts continue to debate just how many of these rare 2003 Lincoln pennies truly exist. Some say fewer than a dozen, others believe maybe a few hundred could be out there. But one thing is certain: the demand for them has skyrocketed. Prices continue to climb as collectors compete for ownership, and as more people learn about the story, the chances of another discovery only fuel the excitement. So what should you do if you want to find one? First, check every single penny dated 2003. Look closely at the details. Study the coin under good lighting. Compare its weight against a standard penny, which should weigh 2.5 grams, and if you notice anything unusual, such as heavier weight, sharper strike, unusual color, or a proof-like shine, you may have something incredibly valuable. Second, store it safely. Never clean or polish a rare coin, as that can destroy its value. Third, if you suspect you found a special penny, have it evaluated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can certify and authenticate the coin, giving you official Documentation that can boost its market price and protect your investment. And finally, keep in mind that luck plays a big role. After all, they don't call it a lucky penny for nothing. The idea that a 1-cent coin could transform an ordinary person into a millionaire overnight sounds like something out of a movie, but it is very real in the world of numismatics. The 2003 Lincoln cent, valued at $4.7 million, proves it, and it continues to inspire both seasoned collectors and everyday dreamers to look closer at their change. So the next time you dismiss a penny lying on the ground or rattling at the bottom of your bag, stop and think twice. It might not just be a penny, it could be a key to fortune, a hidden piece of American history, and perhaps the most life-changing discovery of your life, because sometimes the smallest coin can hold the biggest secret. And for one lucky finder, a 2003 Lincoln penny worth $4.7 million turned a simple pocket change discovery into an overnight fortune. Detailed history of Lincoln cents: 1909 wheat pennies, memorial design, 2009 bicentennial versions, etc. Famous rare penny stories, 1943 copper, 1955 double die, etc. Step-by-step guide on spotting errors in coins. Auction house drama and how bidding wars raise values. Have you ever wondered if the change in your pocket could make you a millionaire overnight? Imagine reaching into your wallet or your old coin jar and finding a penny that looks completely ordinary, but in reality it could change your entire life. Today we are talking about one of the most unbelievable discoveries in American coin history: the 1988 Lincoln penny. A coin that people handle every single day in circulation, and yet one rare variety has recently been valued at a staggering $5.7 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. A single 1-cent coin worth more than luxury mansions, cars, and even winning the lottery. This story is not just about a coin, it is about luck, timing, and the dream of striking it rich overnight with something so simple that most people overlook. And the best part is that this coin is still out there. It is still hiding in circulation. It could be sitting in a jar in your house. It could be lying at the bottom of a drawer, or it could even be in your pocket right now without you realizing it. Now let us dive into why the 1988 Lincoln penny is so valuable. For most people, a penny is just a penny. Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Nothing special. But in the world of coin collectors, tiny details can mean the difference between 1 cent and millions of dollars. What makes the 1988 penny so unique is a rare minting mistake that only happened on a very small batch of coins. In this case, it is known as a transitional variety. To put it simply, the design of the coin changed slightly around that time period. Some of the 1988 pennies were accidentally struck with a design meant for later years. That tiny error makes them incredibly rare and unbelievably valuable. When experts first discovered this mistake, it shocked the coin community. Collectors realized that these pennies were unlike anything else. Because only a handful have been confirmed, their rarity makes them as valuable as precious gemstones. And just like with diamonds, the fewer there are, the more collectors are willing to pay. The most recent appraisal put one of these 1988 pennies at over $5.7 million. That is life-changing money from a coin most people would leave on the sidewalk. Think about that for a moment. You go to a store. You buy something. You get some pennies back in change. And hidden in those coins could be the ticket to becoming a millionaire. All because of a lucky minting error that happened decades ago. Let's talk about how you can tell if your 1988 penny might be the jackpot. First, look closely at the reverse of the coin, the Lincoln Memorial side. On most 1988 pennies, the design looks completely normal. But on the rare transitional variety, there are very subtle differences in the lettering and the design details around the building. The spacing and style of certain letters are slightly different because the coin was struck with a reverse die meant for 1989. To the untrained eye, it looks identical. But to an expert, or with the help of a magnifying glass, those tiny differences could mean millions. Now you might be wondering how many of these coins exist. The answer is very few. Only a handful have been authenticated by grading services, and every time one surfaces, it becomes headline news in the coin collecting community. That rarity, combined with the demand of wealthy collectors, has driven the value through the roof. This is why it is possible for a 1-cent coin to be valued at more than $5 million, imagine the excitement of someone finding one of these in circulation today. Picture yourself digging through an old jar of change in your closet and suddenly realizing that you are holding a coin worth more than a mansion. People dream about winning the lottery, but this is like the lottery hidden in plain sight. So why are coins like this so valuable? It comes down to history, rarity, and condition. History, because this coin tells the story of the US Mint and a fascinating transitional mistake. Rarity, because so few exist. And condition, because the better preserved the coin is, the more collectors are willing to pay. Even a circulated one could be worth millions. But if you found an uncirculated mint condition version, the sky is the limit. It is stories like this that keep treasure hunters and collectors searching every pocket of change. And it is also why coin collecting is not just a hobby but sometimes a life-changing pursuit. People who once ignored pennies now examine them with a magnifying glass. Because in the case of the 1988 penny, that tiny piece of copper-plated zinc might just hold the key to unimaginable wealth, and here is what makes it even more exciting. Coins like this are not locked away in museums. They are not all in the hands of the ultra-rich. Some of them are still floating around in circulation today. That means there is always a chance that you could be the next lucky person to find one. So the next time you are handed change, do not toss those pennies aside. Look at them carefully. Check the date. If you see 1988, take a closer look at the details. Because you never know, that little coin could be your ticket to $5.7 million. Now let me leave you with this thought. People often say it takes money to make money. But sometimes all it takes is luck and a sharp eye. A coin worth 1 cent in the eyes of most could transform your life overnight. That is the magic of the 1988 Lincoln penny. And maybe, just maybe, the next millionaire will not be someone who bought lottery tickets or invested in stocks, but someone who simply checked their pocket change. So keep your eyes open. Keep searching. And who knows, the next time you find a penny, it might just be the luckiest discovery of your life. Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Today we are diving deep into one of the most mind-blowing stories in the world of coins and hidden treasures, and I am talking about the legendary 1979 Lincoln penny that has shocked collectors and fortune seekers around the globe. Because believe it or not, there are reports that a rare variety of this penny could reach a jaw-dropping value of $5.2 million in today's market. And the crazy part is that this coin still hides in plain sight in circulation, which means you could be carrying one right now in your pocket change without even knowing it. Imagine the thought of going to buy a cup of coffee, handing over a handful of coins, and inside that handful sits a penny that could instantly make you a millionaire. This is not just a dream, this is the story of one coin that has the power to change lives forever. Now let's step back and understand what makes the Lincoln penny so iconic. It was first minted in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, and since then it has been one of the longest-running coin designs in United States history. Over the decades, the penny has seen changes in design, composition, and minting errors, but one thing remains the same: collectors love them, and treasure hunters are always on the lookout for those rare mistakes or unusual varieties that slip out of the mint unnoticed and find their way into circulation. The year 1979 may not seem particularly special in the history of the penny, but what makes this year fascinating is that a few coins struck during this period came out with anomalies and defects so subtle that millions of people overlooked them for decades, while experts quietly whispered about their potential rarity. These rare variations gained almost mythical status among collectors. Some were struck on the wrong metal planchets, others carried double dies, and some even had misaligned strikes. And when one of these extremely rare examples surfaced on the collector's market, it completely rewrote the value chart. The $5.2 million penny has become the holy grail for modern-day coin hunters. Picture this: you are digging through a jar of spare change, maybe coins that have been sitting around for years, maybe a handful from a store cashier, and as you flip through the pile you see a 1979 penny that looks a little off. Perhaps it has a strange shine, maybe the lettering looks unusual, or the rim seems different. At first you might think nothing of it, but what if that tiny detail is the sign that you are holding the $1 million penny? This is why collectors around the world never overlook even the most ordinary-looking coins, because history has proven that treasures often disguise themselves as everyday objects. The coin that has captured so much attention has a combination of errors and unique characteristics that set it apart. The minting process in the late 70s was not flawless, and mistakes slipped out into circulation. A small batch of 1979 pennies ended up with characteristics that should never have existed in normal production. These mistakes include being struck on the wrong planchet intended for a different coin, sometimes a dime planchet, other times with a double strike that makes Lincoln's face or the lettering appear shadowed or stretched, and then there are those extremely rare versions that use leftover planchets from earlier years or foreign metals which give the coin an unusual weight or color, and these are the ones that explode in value because they are unique accidents that cannot be replicated. Now let's talk numbers. While an ordinary 1979 penny will only buy you 1 cent worth of goods, the rarest known examples of this year have stunned the market and auction houses. One particular specimen with an extraordinary error recently drew offers exceeding $5.2 million, and yes, that is not a typo, a single copper-colored coin no bigger than your fingernail, capable of buying a mansion, a luxury car, and changing the financial destiny of the person who discovers it overnight. This is why collectors refer to coins like these as life-changing discoveries, because the person who finds one instantly goes from ordinary to extraordinary. So how can you identify if your 1979 penny is one of these rare treasures? The first step is to look carefully at the coin. Do not just glance at it, flip it over, check the date, examine the lettering on the obverse where Lincoln's face is and on the reverse where the Lincoln Memorial stands. See if there are doubling effects on the letters like Liberty, In God We Trust, or United States of America. Check the edges to see if the rim is thicker on one side or thinner on the other. Weigh the coin if you can. A normal 1979 penny should weigh about 3.1 grams if it is struck in copper, but if it was struck on the wrong planchet the weight might be much lighter or heavier, sometimes closer to 2.5 grams like a dime, or even different. Altogether, these small clues are what separate an ordinary penny from a multi-million-dollar treasure. Collectors also pay close attention to color and shine. Pennies struck on foreign planchets can sometimes have a brighter or duller tone than the normal copper surface. Sometimes they even have a silvery appearance, and people mistake them for being dirty or damaged when in fact they are among the rarest errors in existence. Now let's think about the odds. Millions upon millions of pennies were minted in 1979, and yet only a microscopic fraction turned out with these rare characteristics, which makes finding one almost like winning the lottery. But unlike the lottery, this is a game you can actually play every single day. Every time you receive change, every time you sort through a coin jar, every time you open that old drawer filled with coins, you might be seconds away from uncovering the million-dollar penny. Stories have circulated of people discovering rare coins in the most unexpected places. A man once found a rare double-die penny while counting change at a laundromat. Another collector discovered a unique error coin while rolling coins at a bank, and the most incredible part is that many of these people had no idea at first what they were holding until they did a little research and realized they were sitting on a fortune. The same can be true for the 1979 penny that continues to lurk in circulation, ready to be discovered by someone who pays attention. Now here is the fascinating part about coin collecting. Unlike other investments that require huge amounts of money to start with coins, all you need is curiosity, patience, and a little bit of luck. You don't need thousands of dollars to get in the game. You just need to start paying attention to the change in your pocket, and the rewards can be astronomical if lightning strikes in your favor. So the next time you buy a soda, the next time you receive coins back from the grocery store, the next time you empty your piggy bank or find an old jar of coins at your grandparents' house, take the time to check the dates, especially if you see 1979. Hold it up to the light, study the details, because you never know when fate might hand you the key to a fortune. The 1979 Lincoln penny with a value of $5.2 million is not just a story about money, it is a reminder that treasures can exist all around us, hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone with sharp eyes and a curious mind to discover them. This coin represents hope. It represents the thrill of the hunt, and it represents the possibility that any ordinary person could stumble into extraordinary wealth with just one lucky find. So keep your eyes open, keep searching, keep believing, and who knows, maybe the next time you check your pocket change you will be holding a coin that could change your life forever. Have you ever looked down at a penny in your change and thought to yourself, this tiny copper coin could be worth a fortune? Imagine holding something in your hand that everyone else ignores, something people drop on the street or toss into a jar without a second thought, and discovering that it could change your life forever. Today we're talking about one of the rarest and most valuable coins ever to slip through the fingers of ordinary people, a simple 1-cent piece, the Lincoln penny from 1964, that has shocked collectors and investors by carrying a staggering market value of $5.6 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. A single penny that you could find in circulation could make you an overnight millionaire. Now before you rush off to empty your change jar or dig through the cushions of your couch, let's dive deep into why this coin is so special, what makes it different from the billions of other Lincoln pennies out there, and how it managed to reach such an astronomical value. The Lincoln cent has been part of American history since 1909, introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Over the decades, it has been minted in copper, steel, and various alloys. Trillions have been struck, but only a handful carry secrets so rare that they become treasures worth millions. The 1964 Lincoln penny is one of those. While most people believe it is just an ordinary 1-cent coin, there are a few examples out there with mysterious qualities, errors, or compositions that turn them into legends of numismatics. Picture this: it's 1964, the United States Mint is working overtime producing coins for a booming economy. Pennies are being struck by the millions, each one rolling off the presses with Lincoln's familiar profile. To the naked eye, every penny looks the same, a common coin worth exactly 1 cent. But within this ocean of copper lies a few extraordinary pieces. Some were struck on experimental planchets, some had double die errors, and some carried subtle minting mistakes that went completely unnoticed at the time. These mistakes, invisible to most, are what transform a common penny into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Fast forward to today, collectors and wealthy investors scour the market, hunting for these rare pieces. The story of the 1964 Lincoln penny that sold for $5.6 million is nothing short of astonishing. Imagine finding a coin like that in your change, maybe at a grocery store or while rolling up pennies to take to the bank. One lucky individual did just that. An ordinary coin, hiding in plain sight, suddenly revealed itself to be one of the rarest modern treasures ever seen. So what exactly makes it worth $5.6 million? It comes down to rarity, condition, and demand. The coin was certified by professional graders as being in nearly flawless condition, something almost impossible to achieve for a coin that was supposedly in circulation. On top of that, it carried an error that experts had never seen before on a 1964 penny. That unique combination set the collecting world on fire. When the penny went up for auction, the bid started low but quickly skyrocketed as millionaires and museums fought to own it. By the time the auctioneer's hammer came down, the final price stunned everyone, setting a record that still echoes across the coin collecting community. Now here's where it gets even more exciting for you, the viewer. The coin is not necessarily one of a kind. Experts believe that there could be more examples out there, hiding in plain sight, tucked away in jars, old wallets, or forgotten boxes of coins passed down through generations. This means that right now, you could be holding the next multi-million-dollar penny without even realizing it. Think about that for a moment. Every time you get change back at a store, every time you scoop up loose coins from your car or dresser, you might be touching the key to unimaginable wealth. This is why coin collecting, also known as numismatics, is such a fascinating world. It combines history, mystery, and the thrill of treasure hunting, all packed into coins that most people dismiss as worthless. The 1964 Lincoln penny is a symbol of luck, chance, and destiny. It proves that fortune doesn't always come in the form of a lottery ticket or a winning stock investment. Sometimes it comes in the form of a coin so small that it slips through your fingers without you noticing. But if you pay attention, if you take the time to look closely, you just might spot the difference that turns ordinary into extraordinary. So what should you be looking for? When it comes to pennies from 1964, check the date, check for doubling in the numbers, especially the 4 in the date. Examine the lettering on the coin, look for unusual spacing or misstrikes. Pay attention to the weight and color of the coin, since some rare varieties were struck on experimental planchets that make them stand out under close inspection. And always remember, condition matters. A penny that looks brand new, with a glossy finish and no scratches, can be worth exponentially more than one that is worn and faded. Now let's talk about the market value again. $5.6 million is not just a random number. It represents the intense competition among collectors who want to own a piece of history. Coins are tangible assets, and in a world of digital investments and uncertain markets, tangible rare items like this are skyrocketing in value. The 1964 Lincoln penny is not just a coin, it's a status symbol, a crown jewel in any collection, and a piece of American heritage that tells a story of chance and fortune. Imagine the life-changing power of this coin. Someone who was once an average person, maybe even struggling to make ends meet, suddenly finds themselves holding a ticket to wealth beyond imagination. That's why stories of lucky finds like this capture the world's attention. Because deep down, we all hope that one day, our luck will turn 2.so. The next time you see a penny lying on the ground, don't just walk past it. Pick it up, take a look, because it could be the penny that makes you rich overnight. Somewhere out there, more of these rare 1964 pennies are waiting to be discovered, and who knows, the next one might be in your pocket right now. The journey of the Lincoln penny from 1 cent to $5.6 million is a story of luck, history, and hidden fortune. It reminds us that value can hide in the most ordinary of places. All it takes is curiosity, patience, and a sharp eye to uncover it. So keep looking, keep searching, because the world's next millionaire just might be the person who takes a second look at the smallest coin in their change.